What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I have another video comparing some of the top prospects in this year's 2022 NBA draft to each other. Today we're going to be going over Chet Holmgren and Jayden Ivey. Now, Chet Holmgren is probably going to be picked higher than Jayden Ivey. I don't think there's really a situation where that's not going to happen. But still, I think it's good to compare some of these guys, some of these top 5 guys, and just see how they stack up versus each other. We're going to talk about their physical profile, strengths offensively, strengths defensively, and just overall, who do I think's the better prospect of the two. But more importantly, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So I just wanted to start off by comparing the two physically to each other. And I'll start with Chet Holmgren, as Chet is a very unique player physically. He's 7 foot, 7'1", 7'6" wingspan, was listed at 200 pounds in college, would hopefully by the time of the draft be around 210 pounds-ish. And that's really the big concern with Chet physically, is can he put on weight, and how much weight can he put on, and how much weight is too much weight where he's going to lose some of his unique characteristics, which are his ability to run the floor, how athletic and mobile he is. He's someone who I think would be capable of being a lob threat. He's someone who defensively I think has some potential out on the perimeter in switching situations and being able to move his feet, but still being able to be that shot blocker in the paint. And so physically, Chet is very unique. He's someone who you don't see a lot of his physical characteristics at 7 foot tall. But like I said, the big question is weight. How much weight can he put on? How much weight would be too much weight? All that. But physically, Chet is very unique. You don't see players like him too often. Jayden Ivey, just like Chet Holmgren, is a very unique prospect. He's a 6'4", 6'5", 200-pound shooting guard who may be one of, if not the most athletic player in this year's draft. He's a very explosive player, someone who plays above the rim effortlessly. He's someone who is just very smooth, very wiry, strong athlete. I think the player in the NBA I would compare him to physically, in terms of build and kind of explosiveness, is Ja Morant. Both of them kind of have that skinnier, kind of wiry strength to them. They're not built like someone like Paolo Banchero or someone like that. Has more of that wiry strength, but also has a lot of explosiveness, a lot of pop off the floor. And so I think that's who he compares to physically. Now, in terms of play style and what they play like, they're different. But physically, I think I get a lot of Ja Morant vibes from him. And I think that strength is something like Chet will come along in time. But for now, I would say Ja Morant is a good comparison physically. Moving over to the offensive side of the ball, Chet Holmgren is a unicorn physically and in terms of skill set. Now, if you're just looking at Chet, I think he's someone who could be very capable of just being a typical lob threat type big man. Someone who is athletic enough to stand in the dunker spot, finish lobs, finish dump offs, things of that nature, run the floor, beat his man in transition, and just kind of do that role. I think Chet would be very capable of that. But what makes him a unicorn type prospect and a potential #1 overall prospect is the skill set that he has offensively. He's someone who, at 7 foot tall, is very capable of putting the ball on the floor, beating big guys off the dribble, playing out on the perimeter. I think his ability to shoot the ball is very unique at 7 foot tall. I think he's very capable of being a 40, 50, 90 type guy. He's someone who, in the NBA, once he gets more space, pick and pop situations can be very deadly, attacking closeouts, attacking slower footed big man off the dribble. I just think there's a lot there with Chet's game to like that fits today's NBA. And if he's ever able to put on some weight and be able to play a little bit more in the post, he has a soft touch around the hoop. He's got a good feel for the game there. And so that part of his game can develop as he develops physically. But just overall, like I said, what makes Chet a potential first overall pick is his skill set at 7 foot tall. You just don't see that too often. And there's not a lot of things offensively that he can't do. Now, in terms of mindset, is he going to be dominant enough to be a #1 type player? That's a different question. But in terms of just skill set and what he can do, he's very unique, and you're not going to see many players like him. Jayden Ivey is someone who can bring a lot to the table offensively. He's someone who I think right now, just because he's such a great athlete, excels most in transition and up-tempo situations. But there's a lot to like with his game in the half-court situation. His transition from his freshman year to his sophomore year, he answered one of the big question marks about his game, which was his jump shot. He improved it by over 10%, shot 36% his sophomore year, shoots his free throws at about 75%, and he's got good form, good mechanics. So I think that's an area of his game that is improving, and I think it will improve at the NBA level. It's just going to be a matter of getting in reps, getting more comfortable with his jump shot. But I think there's no doubt in my mind that he could be an upper 30% three-point shooter at the NBA level. Now, in terms of his game, he can definitely be an ISO player. He's someone who has a good handle. He's got some wiggle, some shiftiness to his handle. He's someone who can generate his own shots at times. I think it's still a work in progress, but he showcases some flashes of that. And then one thing that I really like about him is that he was able to improve as a playmaker at Purdue his sophomore year, averaged about 3 assists a game. I think he really does show flashes of being a playmaker and being someone who can maybe handle some one at times, or at least be someone who you could have the ball in his hands at a lot of times at the NBA level, and he could be a playmaker for others. And so Jayden, to me, he's raw offensively. There's a lot of things to like about his game. I think there's a lot of things that he showcased improvement from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and I think he's only going to get better as he continues to develop at the NBA level. Now, going over to defense, you got two players who have a lot of potential on this end of the floor. I think Chet's going to get the edge here, as Chet is a 7-footer who has a 7'6" wingspan, has elite shot blocking ability, averaged 3.5 blocks a game there. He has elite timing. He has a really great ability to just stay vertical and not come down with his arms. Is he going to be a one-on-one defender in the paint against guys like Embiid, Jokic, whatever? No, not right now. He needs to put on strength for that. But I think he's someone who can alter a lot of shots from the help side position. I think he's someone who, in switching situations, is mobile enough to move his feet and stay with guards. And so I think Chet just has so much upside defensively. He's only going to get stronger, and he's already a very good defender at the college level, and I think at the NBA level he's going to be able to continue that as well. Jayden Ivey is no slouch defensively either. He's 6'4", 6'5", long wingspan, athletic, can move his feet. I think is going to be very capable of guarding either guard spot. It's just going to come down to effort and how much does he want to commit to that end of the floor. And it depends also on situation, where he ends up. How much is he going to be asked to do offensively? But just in terms of defensive tools, I don't think you can ask for much more. Like I said, he's got the size, he's got the wingspan. He's going to get stronger as he gets older, and he's got the instincts. He's very capable of jumping passing lanes, getting his hand on balls, tipping balls, all that. And so defensively, a lot to like with Jayden Ivey. Nothing wrong with saying that Chet's a better defender at the moment, but a lot to like there. Now, in terms of who's the better prospect, that's a tough question, because I think kind of all year I was a lot higher on Jayden Ivey than I think a lot of people. I always had Jayden Ivey as like a top 3 guy. I really like his upside. I think that I like that he had finished his freshman year really well. He had a lot of expectations coming into his sophomore year. He showed improvement. He got better, and I think he met those expectations. But there's just so much to like about Chet, and Chet's upside is so high. I think you would have to just take him higher in the draft. Now, I think there's more bust potential with Chet than Jayden. I think Jayden is someone who's going to work at the NBA level. Chet, there's a little bit more of a question mark there. But like I said, I think you got to go Chet. But I really do like Jayden Ivey. I like his game. And I think both are going to be really good players.